You know there are two versions of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, right? That doubled workload was just the beginning of the chaos behind the magic. Chess pieces exploded with compressed air. A young actor took a rock to the face, and the main character faced a problem nobody could have predicted. This is how the biggest film franchise of the 21st century was built, one practical effect at a time. Director Chris Columbus used 4 to 5 real trained owls for the film, supplementing them with digital ones for larger flock scenes. But real owls come with real problems. In the kitchen scene where Aunt Petunia looks out the window and sees owls staring back at her, the birds kept turning their heads to look at the camera behind them instead of focusing on the actress. The solution? The crew attached a dead mouse to the front of Fiona Shaw's apron. Every owl immediately locked onto the dead mouse, allowing the camera to film uninterrupted. Sometimes movie magic smells worse than it looks. The wizarding chess scene is one of the film's most memorable moments. Giant pieces smashing each other to bits as Ron sacrifices himself to let Harry advance. What most viewers don't realize is that those exploding chess pieces were practical effects created with compressed air, and debris was flying everywhere. During one take, after Rupert Grint's character is knocked from his horse and hits the ground, a piece of rock broke free and struck him directly in the cheek. Grint was actually injured, but the take was so good they kept it. Sometimes the best performances come with real bruises. Every single Hogwarts letter in the film was handwritten by the graphics team. Thousands of envelopes with Harry's name and address painstakingly inscribed by hand. But when they tried to film the early scenes with real owls carrying the letters, they hit an unexpected problem. The envelopes were too heavy. The owls couldn't fly properly with them. The entire graphics department had to go back and rewrite all the letters on lighter paper so the birds could actually carry them. Meanwhile, for the iconic scene where hundreds of letters come flying out of the Dursleys' fireplace, special effects supervisor John Richardson came up with a completely practical solution, no CGI involved. He built an air shaft system that could blast hundreds of letters through the chimney at high speed. It worked perfectly, creating one of the film's most memorable moments with nothing but air pressure and paper. When Harry, Ron, and Hermione fall into the Devil's Snare, the plant's tendrils appear to wrap around them menacingly, squeezing tighter as they struggle. But your eyes were deceiving you. The filmmakers wanted to avoid expensive CGI, so they got creative with practical effects. Giant tentacles were wrapped around the 3 actors first, then hidden puppeteers manipulated the vines, slowly unraveling and pulling them off the cast. The entire sequence was filmed in reverse. When played backwards in the final cut, it created the illusion of the plant actively attacking and ensnaring them. The practical effect worked. Decades later, audiences still remember the Devil's Snare. On the very first day of filming, which was actually the final scene where Harry says goodbye to Hagrid at the platform, Daniel Radcliffe wore green contact lenses to match Harry's eye color from the books. Within hours, his eyes swelled up and turned red from an allergic reaction. One of producers later said, "His eyes were red and puffy, and, oddly enough, it was very appropriate for a scene where he's saying goodbye to Hagrid." They had to abandon the green lenses for the entire franchise. But that wasn't the end of Radcliffe's physical struggles with his character. A few weeks into filming, he started developing breakouts around his eyes, 2 perfect circles exactly where his glasses sat. It turned out he was allergic to nickel, which is what the original Harry Potter glasses were made from. The props department had to quickly remake the most iconic accessory in the franchise with hypoallergenic materials. The boy who played Harry Potter was literally allergic to being Harry Potter. Because American publishers changed the title from Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone, the filmmakers faced an unusual challenge. Every single time a character mentioned the Philosopher's Stone by name, they had to film the scene twice, once with actors saying philosophers and once saying sorcerers. This meant additional takes for numerous scenes throughout the film, effectively doubling the work for those moments. The young actors had to maintain the same energy, emotion, and blocking while swapping out a single word. It's one of those invisible production details that audiences never notice, but required meticulous planning and patience from everyone involved. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone opened on November 16, 2001, and made $90.3 million during its opening weekend, breaking the record for highest opening weekend of all time. The film went on to earn $974 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing film of the year and the second highest-grossing film of all time at that point. Variety compared it to Gone with the Wind. Audiences broke into spontaneous applause when it ended, something reviewers admitted they'd never witnessed before. Lines wrapped around city blocks. Theaters added midnight showings to accommodate demand. The franchise that defined a generation was built on allergic reactions, practical effects, and thousands of rewritten letters. Magic, it turns out, is just chaos that somehow works.